The Class 395 Javelin is a 6-car bisexual high-speed electric multiple unit. Built by the Japanese in exchange for a year's supply of Marmite, the 395s were designed to provide regional and commuter services from Kent into the capital, with the bonus of competing with the King's Ferry intercity coach network. They are unique for using the Channel Tunnel rail link to accomplish this, and are the only trains that provide domestic services on said route. They can be seen serving places such as Stratford International, Ebbsfleet International, Gillingham, Margate, Ramsgate, Faversham, Thanet Parkway, Sandwich, Canterbury, Dover, and Ashford. No, the other Ashford. I mean the other one. There we go, Ashford. So are these trains good enough for what they do, or are they simply too fast for us mortals to handle? Let's find out. Compared to other railway reviews I've done, I'm going to go a little bit more in detail into the services these trains run on, since it will affect the overall verdict more in my eyes. When High Speed 1 was fully opened to international use in 2007, it was always planned to have domestic, as in non-international, services to run on the line, and provide faster journeys to and from Kent. For a small fee, of course. Hitachi was contracted to build the trains once they received their Marmite from Southeastern, and the fleet of 29 Class 395s were built by 2009, with some units even delivered 6 months ahead of schedule. Somehow, when running on High Speed 1, the trains use AC power with a pantograph as well as French signaling systems, before swapping to British safety systems and 750 volt DC power at Ebbsfleet or Ashford, depending on where the train is headed. They can also run in pairs, seen more during the peak hours, and in turn providing 12 coaches and around 700 squashed passengers per train. Now, the idea of running shorter distance regional services via high-speed lines isn't exactly new in Europe. This is a practice that is done in France, the Netherlands, Belgium and Germany, just to name a few. When done right, you get the Belgian IC01 service, which I will give praise due to the great sounding Class 18 locomotives, as well as the I-10 coaches, which have the best seats of all train coaches I have ever rode on. More info in the future. When done wrong, you get Fura. But I'm pleased to report that the 395 sits bang in the middle in terms of service quality overall. With the introduction of Southeastern's high-speed service, journey times to and from Kent have been predictably reduced somewhat. On certain routes, there is a significant time save riding on the high-speed line as opposed to the conventional lines. London to Dover, for example, takes nearly 2 hours, regardless of if you start from Charing Cross or Victoria, as opposed to just an hour and 5 minutes on the high-speed line. That's quite impressive. Not so much if you're instead traveling to Gillingham. It takes 48 minutes to reach Gillingham from London Victoria. How much time are you saving going via High Speed 1? A whopping 3 minutes. The reason as to why is simple. The area of Strood, Rochester and Chatham has track work and speed limits that can be best described as anti-fast. The stations are closely spaced to each other as the line threads and weaves past roads, buildings, and plenty of hills. Not helped by the fact that trains stop at all stations through here. Attempts to just say YOLO and go any faster through the Rochester area are extremely unwise, and predictably result in the laws of physics promptly telling us that we are about to have a bad time and Anyway, back to reality. The point I'm trying to make is that the North Kent line is a bit of momentum sink, so major infrastructure changes would be needed in order to save more time. A patch for gravity would help too. It's also worth mentioning that the trains ran an increased service to Stratford during the Olympic Games in 2012, but I didn't get to see what it was like, since I was in Grenada at the time. In terms of appearance, I really like how the Javelins look. Streamlined, creative color choice and a yellow front, meaning the train isn't invisible. It's all good. They also sound really good too. They have similar rights in appearance to the Japanese 885 series, which makes sense, but it's very loosely based off it, since the differences between the two are staggering. Another nice thing is that the majority of the 395s are each named after a British Olympic or Paralympic medalist or member of Team GB, to represent them as being Britain's fastest. One of them in particular was Hannah Cockcroft, who I've met several years ago. Oh, and there's also the silly Gamebow livery unit, because Twitter brownie points are worth more than ingots of gold in this day and age. The Javelin is fast. A javelin once thrown can reach air speeds up to 70 miles per hour. And oh wait, you mean the train? Well, the Javelin train is the fastest domestic train running in the UK, with a top speed in service of 140 miles per hour whilst running on high speed 1. To add, 150 miles per hour was reached during early testing in 2009, which is pretty cool to know. It's worth noting that the acceleration rate on high speed 1 may seem faster than the posted 0.7 meters per second squared, but that is due to the steep inclines at Stratford and westbound at Ebbsfleet. It's still a fast train at the end of the day, so I'm not complaining. Under third rail operation, the overall performance and top speed is nerfed to 100 miles per hour, and even then, fairly all of the routes it runs on outside of high speed 1 exceed 80 or 90 miles per hour, so that's not a big deal either. So what are the Javelins like to ride on? Well, riding on one would be quite painful and impractical, so instead we'll see if the 395s fare any better. We are provided with a smart looking 2+2 seating arrangement throughout the train. The units are standard class throughout, which I approve of, since it makes my job of filming much easier. Also, why would you pay for first class from London to Rochester, you maniac? I've already detailed my first time riding on a Javelin in one of my previous videos, where I expressed a degree of fear due to how much the train rocked about in the tunnels. However, I'm pleased to report that this has been rectified on recent repeat journeys between Ebbsfleet and London. Window alignment suffers from Alstom syndrome yet again, with certain seats near the door having no window to look through it at all. Why has it become so difficult to design a decent train interior in this day and age? The seats themselves are okay, just okay. There isn't much padding, but you at least get basic amenities such as armrests, folding tables behind the seats, air conditioning and plug power points between the seats. No USB charging is fitted because lol. Luggage can be placed above the seats, and there are larger racks provided near the doors for cases of illegally sourced cockles and shellfish. Speaking of the doors, you may have noticed that the 395 uses sliding doors instead of the sliding plug leaf doors we are more used to. This is supposedly for reliability reasons, but it does result in the doors suffering from Windows Vista levels of response time.
Thank you.
A pair of toilets are provided on each train set, located in the driving coaches. The standard toilet is of an acceptable size and uses a sliding door to maximize space inside, which is smart. The disabled toilet, located at the opposite end, is bigger, and as demonstrated by my associate, is easily big enough to practice some MLG trick shots. Good work, mate. This is your typical size disabled toilet with nothing really to report here. Not bad but not amazing either. Located on the opposite side to the toilet is a pair of wheelchair spaces, which also include charging points and folding tables, which is really nice. Just a quick message to you all. Don't put your luggage in the wheelchair space. I repeat, don't put your luggage in the wheelchair space, you selfish tightwad. There are no plans to replace the Javelins at the time of making this video, though it would be entertaining to see Southeastern retrofit their fleet of Class 375-6s with the needed equipment to run on high speed 1 as a last resort. Conclusion. The 395 is acceptable. It is easily the best, or, let's be honest, the least worst, of the Hitachi A-Train family, which is like saying the 237 is the least worst bus route in Hounslow. Not exactly a valuable statement. The Javelin doesn't exactly anger me or make me feel sad, but it clearly could be a little bit better to ride on as a whole. Better seats and window placements would be a good start. As exhilarating as it is to ride at 140 miles per hour, I still think more should be done to improve the overall service, especially when compared to the equivalent services in mainland Europe. Then again, you are charging £50 for a day out return to Ramsgate, so I don't know what to say anymore. Now you know my thoughts on the 395. Go out there, and don't forget to celebrate February as being the 8th month in a row of continued strike action on the UK railway network. Yes, 8 months. Maybe they'll start treating their workers better on the 9th.